How do you feel tonight? Wonderful. Great. Let's begin our lesson. My international friends, how are you? Do you hear us well? Yeah. Okay, great.
Thank you.
And let's see you all here in our meeting today. So let's begin our meeting. I cannot see someone who don't know what is Toastmasters. Okay, let's meet this part. Thank you very much for joining us today. And today we have the last meeting of this year. Christmas time is coming, so today we have beautiful topic of the day, and I want to say, please mute your phone before we start. Yes, and have a lot of happiness tonight. I would like to invite to the stage our beautiful Olga, the Toastmaster of the evening. Welcome, Olga. Friends from Zoom. Dear Toastmasters, this is the most wonderful time, New Year Eve. Since our childhood, every December, romantic thoughts wander in our minds. What was this year of our life? We start to reflect and probably remember some amazing events happened, and a slight smile runs across our faces. Think of those who were grateful to you during this year, how you made someone around a little happier. And now think about what you are grateful for to yourself in the end of this year. Remember how every morning you woke up and made small steps toward your goals. But we always want a little bit more than we have. This is the basis of evolution. In the next year, some people want great achievements, while others just looking for peace inside themselves. Imagine that today is December 2022. Suppose we all meet in the same room in a year. How has your life changed? Anyone would like to share? Okay, I'm sure that even the most skeptical of you, in this New Year Eve, in this magical night, will close your eyes and imagine something you've been dreaming of for a very long time. Dear Toastmasters, let me take you on a journey of reflections and dreams about our best selves. Before we begin, I will ask you to have your magic cards ready and handy. Just ready and handy, okay? We will use them a bit. Now, I would like to welcome on this very stage those people who are actually responsible for the effectiveness of our speaking practices. Formulating phrases correctly means clear representation of our stream of consciousness. And we are very lucky that we have in our room someone who will draw our attention to this. Please welcome on stage our grammarian, Daniel Zakharov.
Dear Toastmasters, my role tonight is very simple. I'm sure most of you are well familiar with it. That is to follow active listening, your speeches, the manner of your expressions, and pay close attention to any slight missteps that you make. Perhaps a poor construction of a sentence, such as incorrect use of the words order, or grammatically incorrect sentences, choice perhaps not of the best tense, mixing the indefinite and continuous tenses, or mispronunciations, such as tear, vowel, vowel, etc. But more importantly, I will be more actively listening to the eloquent use of your language, the floral expressions of your language, the idiomatic forms that you use. And I will take a very careful note of those as well, and will produce a report towards the end of our session. In addition to the grammar responsibility, my responsibility tonight is to choose a word of the session of the meeting, which I have chosen to be an adjective together. Together, that is on that flip chart, which is not to be confused with a verb together. And as you can see from the spelling, there is a slight difference in the spelling. Together adjective is with E for echo, together verb is with A for alpha. Thank you very much for using the word of the day together in your speeches, and I look forward to be actually listening to what you are saying. Thank you.
Indeed, pure speech, pure mind. And the next important role of today's meeting is our encounter. Please welcome on stage Polina Chernakova.
Hello, dear Toastmasters. I'm very glad to see you all. And today I'm introducing myself as an account. My responsibility is to note any inappropriate sounds and words like well, so, you know, and so on, because they don't make your speech beautiful. Also, try to exclude numerous repetitions of same words. If you forget what to say, you can take a pause or a step. So, good luck, everyone. I hope you will do beautiful speech using only beautiful language.
It is not a secret that the right perception of time, we are more likely to achieve all our goals. Please give a round of applause to our timer, Hemant Kalyanin.
Good evening, everyone. My role today is to make sure that while we learn and enjoy the meeting and make sure that we manage the time as well and be efficient before what the time limit has been assigned as per the mention in our agenda. So I'll be showing you the signature, I'll be showing you the sign about the times you have, like this is the minimum time limit which you reach. You have enough time still to go on. The yellow which shows that you have reached, and you have only 30 seconds to finish your and complete your speech. And the red is where you exceeded your time limit. So I hope like you will respect the time which has been allocated for this speech. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, it is important not only to focus on ourselves, but also on people around us, right? And we have a person who will check on us on this, and this is Tatiana Gladisheva.
Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, my name is Tatiana, and I am the quiz master tonight. Quiz master is the most recent role in our club, and the main idea of this role is to listen to your speeches and presentations attentively, and then the quiz master, towards the end of the meeting, will be asking you the questions about the speeches and presentation and check how attentive listeners you are. And those of you who know the right answers will be treated with the nice candies. be attentive and have fun.
Well, let's start our promises journey. I would like to ask you to use your magic cards and write on them, you all have pencils, I guess, too, and write on them only one word of your main promise to yourself for the next year. Only one word, it can be anything that only you will know. It could be anything from new career to athletic body or life on Bali, anything. Take your time, but not too long. Because right after, let's greet our first speaker, whose topic of the speech is New Year's resolution idea. Please welcome on stage, Martino.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Novi God, New Year is approaching. It's a period of happiness. You know, I hope that everyone is gonna have wonderful time. Is gonna spend it with the people they love the most, and they're gonna do the things they're more passionate about it. Although this period, when it ends, usually leave us with something that is a present that is undesirable. It usually stays on our waist because usually, you know, we spend very good time, we eat a lot, we feasted a lot. So it's like, okay, now, so what? I have a list of, you have already your list of New Year's resolution. And you say, okay, maybe I should add a couple to that. I should add, you know, going to the gym, start a new diet. And I would add one more to that. This is called time-restricted diet. Time-restricted diet is actually something that is always eating. Our ancestors used to wake up in the morning, and since they have no refrigerators, they used to go out, procure their food, and start eating. So usually they would start eating like late in the morning, or depending actually, but not right away when they woke up. And they would have their last meal of the day towards dusk. So that depends on the season. It would be if it's winter or summer. So typically, the time frame of eating was much shorter than what we are used to today. Today, we are snacking all the time. Now, studies have shown that time-restricted eating can improve our health. Can improve it actually, our digestive organs, they would work better just because for the simple fact that they can rest. They have rest, right? So they become more efficient. With the food that they give them, they process it better and we absorb better the food. So they do more with less, actually. Studies also shown that our vitality, our energy groups, because the level of glucose in our blood gets stabilized, and automatically our energy gets better. In countries such as Japan and China, where eventually fasting is embedded in the society, they observe that cancers, the impact of cancer is less than other developed countries. This being said, there are two main challenges to this. Big problems. The first one, that in our society, we are not used to restrict ourselves because we have 3 main meals and we snack all the time, right? And the second one is me. Because I'm not a doctor. You shouldn't believe a single word of what I told you until now, right? I'm passionate about well-being in general. I would like to live up to 150 years. That's why I got to know these things. But before you do anything as such, taking such a restricted diet, or let's call it time-limited eating, please consult your doctor. Okay. Once you do that, you eat this type of diet, this type of fasting. It's actually like going to the gym or doing yoga. At the beginning, you might, the weight might be very heavy, right? But as you go, you might lift a bit more. Same with yoga. At the beginning, you're very stretched, but as you do it, you stretch a little bit more every time. Same is with this type of diet, which is not a diet, it's just strictly time limited. As you do it, you're probably gonna restrict your time and do something with it and reduce the time by you eating so that you can greatly benefit from it. But consult a doctor first. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's plenty of useful information for us. Thank you. And this is something that I personally practice for years. Thank you. So let's continue our promises journey, right? I love the idea. If you want to have something that you never had, probably you should do something that you never done. Please use your magic cards again. And let's write on them the name of the first step that you need to do to your promise to come true. Anything, very simple, from cleaning the apartment or finishing the book. Just a small step that you feel will help you to fulfill your promise. Just the first one.
Are those two connected?
Yeah, sure, the promise and the step. Absolutely. And I repeat it once again that only you will know this very personal information. So take your time to write whatever is very personal for you. But again, not too long, because right after, let's greet our second speaker, Irina. I'm sure we will get a lot of things and insight from her speech titled, Plan Your Move and Move as Planned. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Good evening, everyone. As stated in the series American Horror Story, death, divorce, and moving are the 3 most stressful situations in any person's life. Do you like to move? How many times have you moved from one apartment to another? Please raise your hand. Say, how many times?
Like,
4 times, guys. Martina?
I don't know.
Too much. So, okay, thank you. I have 3 times, and the last one was 5 months ago. The initial circumstances were as following. Let's imagine pandemic time, tele-education, and usual weekday. My son, the 5th grade student, is learning how to calculate the area of triangle. My daughter, the 9th grade student, is learning the elements of periodic table of Mendeleev. I am sales manager conducting the commercial negotiations with Magnitogorsk Metallurgical Plant by Zoom. And my husband, he's a musician, is giving vocal and ukulele lessons to his students by Skype. And all this action take place at the same time in the same small two-room apartment. Of course, after a month of such a circus, our family was on the brink of divorce. and the only way out is to improve and extend our housing, EDS moving. So, we developed the plan. And the main goal has been determined. We have to move from 2-room apartment to 3-room apartment. Our kids should get separate rooms, our parents should get separate working places. Even balcony will do, but don't walk in the kitchen next to the refrigerator. As I said, we developed the plan, but change management plan is not only managing of moving itself, of family things from point A to point B. This is managing of changes in all our family, human resources, financial statement, plans and habits of each family member. A well-designed plan can provide each stakeholder the opportunity to engage in the process. This is the power of change management. So, after analyzing the initial situation and setting the goal, we started considering the different options. For this, we determined 2 main metrics of changes: finances and logistics. Let's start from logistics. My kids go to school, and will it be significant for them to change schools and teachers? My office is located in the center of Moscow, and of course, it's better to live within a walking distance to the metro, because I used to go before pandemic time by subway. My husband has a lot of students, and they live in our area. And of course, we have to think about them, about their comfort when pandemic finished. And also facilities and ecology issues are important. The next metric is finances. A lot of benefits, there are a lot of benefits of living closer to historical center. And to move there, we had to take out the bank loan, a huge amount of money, mortgage, such awful word. And it was too risky now having financial cushion during pandemic time, and we decided to get by with available budget and stay at our area. And we also planned to save money and didn't hire a realtor. We, along with our permanent work, we took upon ourselves the responsibility of real estate agent. An integral part of management of changes is communication plan. We designed this plan for every stakeholder affected to the change. It was parents, my financial advisor, lawyer, sellers, buyers. But Shiva myself, we didn't include the resistance to change in our plan. My son was a resistance to change. It happened in the meeting of the commission, which gives permission for children to move. And he said that apartment, which was chosen as a final version, is located far from his friend's house. and refused to move. All the work done, I was so disappointed that I sat down on the floor, right in the office. But thanks to my husband, he found proper words and convinced him to accept the situation. We promised him the sunniest room in our new apartment, where he could invite and play with his friends anytime he wants. Accepting this resistance to change, we made good plan because we moved in 1 month in really white and bright 3-room apartment. We coped with it and we engaged children to support us, and everything went on wheels. It is very important to develop change management plan and communication plan. As for us, packing and moving is not so hard as unpacking and settling down. So, new year, new apartment, new me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, such an inspiring story. Well, now let's finish our promises journey for now, just as the first part of our meeting. Sometimes we forget the importance of small steps and want results too fast. But sometimes the dream of the whole our life is something that can be done in 1 month. Dear Toastmasters, I would like to use your magic cards again and write on them the name of month of 2022 when you promise yourself to fulfill this very promise.
Sure.
And right after, this is basically the end of our first part of our meeting. And during the break, please put all your promises in the magic envelope. Because we have a magic balloon, which will bring our envelope right in the sky after our meeting, so that they will look at us during the whole year and illuminate our everyday right after that month that you noticed in the card. Okay, thank you very much. This is here. 10 minutes or 15 minutes break. We can chat with each other and put our messages. Great. Have time. Yeah, feel free and we can have some sweets.
No.
No sweets, promises. You decided to use your diet? Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
You can
It's here,
send
right?
to me and we
Here, right?
this is
And that's
we'll do together
Huh?
with our balloon. I can show you. Can we show for our international friends our balloon? Yes, it's true. I mean, balloon. I mean, if it will be too heavy for it will be everything will be okay.
Yeah, how are you?
Dear friends, let's continue our meeting. Yes, here I am. Yeah, let's move to the second part of our meeting. And this is the very important part of our meeting where each of us has a chance to try yourself on stage. Please give a round of applause to our table topic master, Samira. Samira believes that in order to achieve your goal and fulfill your promise, you need to cultivate two things: positive mindset and stop negative self-talks. I totally agree. Thank you.
Dear fellow Toastmasters, today we have an excellent topic, New Year, New Me, promises to ourselves. The promises we make to ourselves are the most important ones. They are the ones that pave in a path to our hopes, dreams, and goals. Dreams and goals give our life purpose, direction, and meaning. They shape our life choices, help us build toward the future, and give us a sense of control and hope. And when New Year is approaching, we usually start setting goals and making promises that we will definitely achieve our goals. At the same time, we are not always able to keep promises to ourselves and reach goals. Let's work together toward the change we seek and share thoughts about our promises and goals and obstacles we face. Dear Toastmasters and guests, these are the rules for table talk session. So please raise your hand if you would like to participate. Introduce yourself, because we will select the best table topics participant. Get your question and answer it during 1 to 2 minutes. And our timer will show you the parts to control your time. So, any volunteers?
You can ask everyone.
And through Zoom, so.
Please move to the,
Please share your tips and tricks that allow you to fulfill your promises to yourself.
You see, I will give very common thought. If I'm healthy, it will allow me to fulfill my promise. So my task is to be healthy. In order to keep my health, I should be physically, I must move a lot. I must do physical exercise. I'll get my goal.
Thank you.
Introduce myself, I'm Alan.
So let's do exercises they help us our. So who will be the next?
Maybe someone from Zoom would like. You can ask everyone. Just say
go to the stage.
What sacrifices are you willing to make to change yourself and reach your goals? What sacrifices are you willing to make to change yourself and reach your goals? Good question. I think that if someone wants to reach a goal, it's because he's passionate about it. And usually when you have a passion, you forget that it's something you sacrifice is something. So I think that this is my general idea. So if you want to achieve something in your life, don't take it like a sacrifice. You sacrifice something because it's something you want, it's something you're passionate about, and it's something that it's worthy. So I personally lose my when I'm trying to reach something, I actually lose myself in it, and I completely 100% in it, and I usually lose concept of even time because I'm just completely 100% into that, and it doesn't feel like sacrifice. Maybe you see that it's gone 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Somebody from outside may see it, okay, look, he's working so hard, or he's like, sacrificing a lot. But if it's a passion, if it's something you do it with passion, if it's something you do it with all yourself, with all your concentration, avoiding perhaps these usual distractions that we have in our world, such as social networks or WhatsApp, all this stuff. Just put yourself there 100% and just go for it, for the thing you love. I think there is everything is worthy, and you just can live without Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all the rest. Thank you.
There is something that you always want to do, but you are afraid to attempt.
I should answer in another way. This kind of man, a person who analyze the situation, the facts. If I understand that the problem task have a solution, I begin think how is possible, the ways, the variants, several variants, and perform what is the result step by step. And other way, if I not sure that is possible for me to get a result. So I reject this idea. I'm this kind of
Introduce yourself, please, before your speech.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Sure, next question. Oh, the next. Should be question.
Making too many promises results in many broken promises. How to be selective in what you promise to yourself?
Dear Samir, dear guests, dear fellow Toastmasters, maybe I'm too much optimistic But every time towards the end of the year, I become very superstitious. I search around for the signs of predicting what in the upcoming year. There are no black cats or broken mirrors on my list. If I see them, I just ignore them. I only search for good things. And I have even my own personal sign of the luck. If someone accidentally mispronounces or mistypes my first or last name, mixes up the date of my birth, or makes some kind of other mixes up my personal stuff, mismatches, that means my life is just around the corner. Even once here in this club, and some time ago, the president of the club, the former president that time was Nikolai Denisenko. I think he was too busy, like always all presidents are. He gave me birthday cards twice. And I was happy to get greetings and applause twice. He was very much sorry, but I wasn't. I knew that was one of those mistakes. And by the way, next year was one of the most successful years in my life. So what I'm trying to say is that don't be selective in your promises. Promise yourself everything you want to promise. And if you achieve even part of it, or sometimes you see a strange signs in your life, don't get stressed. It may be a sign of a good life coming to your life. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there any weaknesses or qualities you think you lack that are the reason you haven't made the leap to pursue your dream or goal?
Thank you. Am I up now?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, Madam Table Topics Master Samira, thank you for having me. My name is Miles Flegg, and I'm calling in from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I've been a Toastmaster for a long, long time, and it's helped me get over my weaknesses and my shyness. And I have a tendency to make a lot of promises and don't keep them. Just ask my wife. She's got a long list of things she wants me to do, but I'm always getting attracted to events like this. So I have a tip about making promises. And for me, I just thought of it today, as a matter of fact. I'm a big fan of a rock band called Def Leppard. How many people know of Def Leppard? Okay, they have a song called Promises, and it's really got an upbeat sound to it. And I think it's going to be the way that I'm going to start my day, so that I can keep in my mind that if I'm going to make a promise, I better make sure I fulfill that promise. And one of the things that I've been afraid to do is to actually create my own business. And I was also a bit afraid to even create my own website, but I've done both of those. And it's all about being together, which is our word of the day. And I have another Def Leppard song that I really think is beautiful, and it's called We Belong. So I invite you to follow me at my website, which is called quest3210.com. And I've opened it up just recently to try to entertain comments and share thoughts and ideas. So Madam Table Topics Master, everybody, happy holidays, however you follow the holidays. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year.
one. Irina?
I wasn't on stage today.
Let's try again. Irina?
Oh, guys, don't be shy.
Come on, please. Let's try, guys.
So, Samira, you choose, come on.
Yes. Choose everyone you want. Yeah.
Please, we are waiting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics, Toastbusters. My name is Daniel, for those who don't know me.
So, if you want to keep promises to yourself and reach goals, you should feel your worth it. What do you think about it?
Well, if the question is whether I feel that I'm worth it, that is to be able to reach those goals. The answer is very short. Yes, I'm worth it, full stop. Whether I reach the goals or I don't, because in a way, we ourselves are the atmospheric substance. If you think about it, is there anyone in this entire universe to you who is worth more than your beautiful self? Honestly, probably not. For one simple reason, because it doesn't really matter who you are attracted to. You are of no value to them if you don't exist. So your value to everyone else is linked to your own worth. So you are worth it. No matter what you set as your goals, no matter who you're attracted to, no matter how and what you feel, you are your ultimate goal and you are your ultimate worth. Thank you very much for that.
Maybe the last one. The last one.
Who wants to be the last one?
Yeah. Any internal or external obstacles that prevent you from reaching your goals? Being a Toastmaster makes any of us prepare and set quite a big amount of goals in front of ourselves. And actually, very often I feel myself overwhelmed with all of the tasks I put on myself and wanted to reach every of these tasks on time. And very often I do not manage, unfortunately, to do this. I have a special notebook in which I put a list of my tasks for every day. And every evening, at the end of the day, I put them away, the tasks which I managed to do, but also there are a lot of tasks which I didn't have time to do today. I was planning to do them and I didn't manage to do that. And then a bit disappointed, but I moved them to the next day and suddenly to several more days forward. And I try to analyze what disturbs me from reaching every list for every day, which I plan for myself. And probably the reason is that I try to do a lot of things, and very often we forget that we should just relax, just put away all the lists, just sit with ourselves during the whole evening, just think over all the things that happen to us, what for we do this or that
point of our plan isn't really necessary. Maybe the fact that I move it from one day to another several times means that I don't have to do it at all. It's not necessary for me. It's not actually what I really want to achieve. So probably if you feel that there are some external circumstances that disturb you from achieving this or that goal, and if you have this circumstance for a long time, probably you should think over the goals and set another one goal which is really necessary for you in person. So this is the end of today's topic session. Thank you everyone who participated, and could you please vote for the best table topics participant? You can see the QR code in the agenda. Great, thank you.
Thank you very much, Samira. It was such a nice table topic session, so that we got so many amazing smart advices and tips and insights from our friends about how to be a better version of ourselves, how to fulfill our promises, and of course, how to achieve our goals. So thank you very much, Samira, for such an amazing opportunity to get all these insights. And this is actually the end for me on this stage, because I have to pass it for our general evaluator, Yana Maskalkova. Yana, please welcome on stage, and the stage is yours. Dear friends, once again, me on the stage, but now in a bit different role. The goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better tomorrow. And that's the reason why in every Toastmasters meeting we have an evaluation session, the session where each and every person who stood on the stage will get a bigger or less portion of evaluation and pieces of advice to be better tomorrow, to think it over, to implement into your next speech, and feel satisfaction from what you do here at every meeting. As a general evaluator, I would like to evaluate, to give some feedback to what happened here on the stage during the whole meeting. And of course, we will listen to the personal evaluators of our today's great speakers who are eager to listen to it as soon as possible, I believe. We started 2 minutes later, but that's okay. We have not so many officers today here, so thank you to our Madam President Alina, who managed to organize everything very, very well. I really like the way you welcomed, Alina, you welcomed the guests on the stage. You also didn't forget about our online guests and checked the sound with them, so you didn't forget about any of us. That's great. I also like the way you feel on the stage. You're so smiling, you're so sincere, so friendly, so amazing look, which you always have on the stage. That's also a good image of you. That's great. The only thing, I also really like the way Toastbusters print their agenda. It's so colorful, it's so bright, and also the people who are online are mentioned with some special sign. So it really means that they prepare the meeting very well. Maybe we will apply the same thing in optimal form. The thing I lacked a bit, some highlighting of the club value, probably. So you missed that part about the values of Toastmasters because we all know them, but I would like to listen to some value of Toastmasters Club in particular. As a president of another club, I understand it's so difficult to prepare everything, so you're in a rush, but just have 5 minutes before the start of the meeting and think how satisfied you are after every meeting, how
pleased you are and share these emotions with us at the start of the meeting. So that's the only thing I would like to recommend. Our Toastmaster appointment was by you were so smiling, so friendly, so sincere as well. You spoke with very clear verbal communication with the audience. You used pauses, so you were really clear, understandable, and that's great. And the topic and the things with the magic cards you created was amazing. So everyone came here and asked, "Oh, is this a present for me?" So that's so nice. And I would like to say one thing for myself, but I can't see them anymore. Anyway, that was a really good idea, good preparation of the Toastmaster. The thing that was not very clear to me from throughout your speech is, so this magic card, you didn't share with us the task from the very beginning. And before one introduction, you said, so just you have the card, try to write something down, and then move to the invitation of the grammarians, as far as I remember. So that was a bit unclear. And for the next speech, probably you should think over the transitions, to make the transitions between the task, the roles a bit clearer. And in general, the Toastmaster of the day was really cool. I believe everyone would agree with me. Then our experts, our small roles, just one word to them. I would advise to the small roles, to the grammarian, to the accountant, to the timer, try to make your introduction a bit more personal. Not to describe your role, we all definitely know what your role is about, but try to add some personal story, how using the unnecessary sound didn't using the unnecessary sound made someone didn't get the aim or didn't get past the interview or something like that, or a personal story how you in person manage your time or how you manage to speak correctly. That will make your introduction more personal, more clear, and more probably friendly to the audience. And now, I believe that I talked too much already, and our speakers are waiting for their personal evaluators. So let's move to the evaluation of the first speaker. Today, he was, with a difficult surname. I will not even try to pronounce it. Anyway, Martina's evaluator will be a person with another difficult surname, Subramanian.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Speak online, so the stage is yours. Let's welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Resolutions are meant to resolve our challenges, and they are also meant to derive solutions. My target speaker, Martino, has actually mentioned about the resolution, and he has planted a brilliant idea. There were 3 points which really stood out in his speech. The first point is the relatable topic and the content. With New Year around the corner, he actually brought out a beautiful title, New Year's resolution idea, and yet he also planted a brilliant idea. The time restricted diet, that is the beautiful concept he has brought about. And he also finally concluded with some humorous thought, and also to consult with the doctor, though he is not specialized to do so. The second point that stood out in his speech is the substantiating elements that he has planted across his speech. The extensive research, even though the project 3 only demands, if it is going to be in level 1, if the project 3 demands researching and presenting, yet in his project 2, which is the second speech, still he researched the content extensively, and he presented several elements of research, like organs should take rest. That was beautifully given out with a message, and energy groups, and also where Japan and China, where people are suffering less cancer cases. So these were some of the substantiating elements that stood out. And the third point that stood out in his speech is the way he had carried out convincingly throughout his speech. The hand gestures were brilliant. When he mentioned about the word waste, he actually touched the waste, and then he exhibited all those in a beautiful hand gestures. the humor was sprinkled in a subtle way, yet it was very effective, where he mentioned, though I am not a doctor, and finally he concluded with consult a doctor. With all these brilliant resolution idea that he has planted, I felt couple of recommendations or couple of specifics could actually enhance his speech. The first is whenever research content is presented, probably in terms of percentage or in terms of more statistical figures that could actually elevate the research content that we present. For example, when he mentioned about Japan and China, where cases where people are less people are suffering from cancer. Probably statistics like this much percentage of people who are following this diet actually have don't get prone to cancer. And the second point is a challenge that he can take about is the personal adoption, or probably the how this personal adoption of this diet, time restricted diet, have improved his life or somebody's of his personal friend's life in his personal circle. Overall, it was a wonderful speech, a beautiful resolution planted idea with substantiating elements, and the way he carried out convincingly, just with a personal attachment, and also with more statistical figure. I think this could even become a greater speech. Thank you so much.
I hope you will exchange with the personal evaluation report online. That's really important. And now we're moving to the second personal evaluator. Our second speaker was Irina, and I'm sure she's looking forward to get her evaluation. Welcome to the stage, personal evaluator number 2, Alla Aganova.
Thank you so much for your project. What can I say about your project? From the point of view of the structure, you were quite right. It was a very good structure. First, you put forward the goal in the introduction, and secondly, in the body of the project, you gave the detailed explanation of the goal. That is, you showed the practice of developing change management plan. And I think it's one of the good sides of your project that you have spoken in a humorous way. And you got some response from the audience. You had a very good eye contact. So thank you so much for this. So finally, we can say that she fulfilled the task of the project to show the practice of change management plan and the practice of developing a change management plan. So I have no objection about the text of the project itself. I'm sorry, I have some objections as to the language you used. First of all, some terms should be changed. For example, we determined, first of all, it should be we determined, yes. And it's better to use here the verb to define. We defined the difficulties and so on and so forth. Some pronunciation mistakes sometimes cut my ears. It is separate. It is process, not something else. But I think these are small disadvantages in your project. So my general conclusion that it was a very good project. Thank you so much for this. And let's be looking forward to your next project.
Thank you, Alla. I really appreciate the fact that Alla explored the purpose of the project of the speaker. Actually, nowadays, personal evaluators very often forget about the purpose of the project and forget to analyze it and evaluate it during the evaluation. That's a good sign. I also like the way Alla mentioned very small
language mistakes, but in fact, they really affect the way the speaker looks on the stage. It's really a sign of very attentive listener who Allah is. I would like probably for the next evaluation of yours to provide the speaker with some additional recommendation about the delivery, for example, or usage of the stage, usage of the voice, or any other things which we work on during our speech.
She was so excellent.
Nothing to
No
add.
additions.
Irina, let's give you a round of applause if you were so excellent. Also, guys, I would like to mention one thing that I put which it's difficult to keep the words together today. The thing is that in the first part of the meeting, the applause were quite quiet. So you were not very supportive to the speakers, and I thought, what's happening here? Maybe December, in a rush. However, after the break, you add some chocolate, some sweets, and broke the diet rules, and the applause during the second part of the meeting was so loud, so supportive and energetic. So please continue applauding the same way till the end of the meeting. That really helps the speaker feel free on the stage and not to be so nervous as we are, probably. Now, I would like to invite to the stage the experts, and we will start with the counter. Some accident.
It's not one.
So let us check how clean we were during our speeches. We welcome the stage a counter Polina Chilmakova.
At first, I want to thank all of you for such beautiful and inspiring speeches. Let's start with our first part of today's meeting. It was about prepared speeches. I've noticed some inappropriate sounds from our timer. Where are you?
Yes.
Yeah. You said M for near 4 or 5 times, and at the beginning of this part of our meeting, it was Irina who used for near 6-7 times, and by the end of your speech, you keep saying and. Instead of this, you can use moreover, furthermore, including, as well as, and so on. What about the second part of our meeting? I think about table topic session. I think it was much more difficult to use beautiful and clear your language, but all of our members did really good job, and I didn't mention a large amount of unnecessary sounds or words. That's all.
Thank you, Polina. I hope you were very attentive, and our table topic speaker actually didn't use any unnecessary sounds, more or less. By the way, regarding the table topic session, I would like to say a few words about the session itself. Our table topics master, Samira, prepared a bit complicated questions, the questions we should think over before getting on this stage. You prepared the questions according to the topic. That was good. I also like the way you explained the rules of the session before we started. Many table topic masters forget about that. Thank you for doing it. And the clear explanation of the task itself and the rules, that's a good sign of good preparation of the table topics master. What I would like to recommend for you for the next time, try probably not to read the task looking into this sheet of paper, because you were looking into this for quite a long period of time, and we had lost your attention a little bit. So I want to keep your attention through the whole session. Try to say it without any piece of paper for the next time. And also for the table topic speakers, just
several recommendations. Very often the table topic speakers come to the stage and start speaking to the table topics master and asking the question to her. That's not the way, that's not the thing we want to practice here being a table topic speaker. So it's a chance for you to speak for 2 minutes to the audience, to keep their attention, to feel their emotions, to speak to every person in the room. So try to forget about the table topics master, talk to the audience. And another thing that very often people forget, table topics speech is a small speech with the opening, with the body, with the conclusion. And just, if you don't know what to start with, just keep calm, keep standing for 5 seconds, 5 or 7, not more, and try to remember some personal story answering to the question or related to the question a little bit, and start speaking. Don't say thank you for the question or anything else, just start speaking and try to conclude your short speech with a call to action or some summary or something like that, just trying to wrap it up as a real speech. So that's your chance to train a very important skill, like impromptu speeches, which can help us in very unexpected places of life, believe me. Then, I think that for the table topic speakers, the reports of our experts are twice as important as the prepared speeches, because we are in very unexpected circumstances in the table topics. And I would like to invite to the stage our next expert, our grammarian and word master, who will share with us his report. Please welcome Daniel Zaharov.
My report consists of 2 parts. The first part is devoted to the word of the day, and perhaps for the reason that the word of the day has been quite mundane, and the speeches, both prepared and table topics, were floral and impressive. I haven't registered a single use of the word together. It's true.
No, I've heard one. From our international guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Subramania. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Subramania. Then I haven't registered that. Thank you very much for pointing this out.
It was Miles.
Having said that, I move on to the second part of my report, which is more related to the proper use of the language. The first thing that I noted, the word pause was pronounced as pose. Pause is related to vocal variety. Pose, we pose a question. We pose on the stage, but pause. Then focus on ourselves rather than focus on ourself. And our clearly requires this, which is plural. The next one is how attentive listeners you are. An adjective how assumes another adjective. How attentively you have been listening, or what attentive listeners you are. But how attentive is creating some imbalance. Then I would like to commend our first speaker on his passion and passionate way of speaking when he referred to feast. Sometimes it came across as a different noun with a shorter vowel E, but maybe it's just my perception. Then I would like to second Ala's comments on the second speaker's speech. I also registered the same things, determined rather than determined, and separate rather than separate. And I'm saying I'm seconding what you have said. Thank you for this. In addition to this, I have noted a rather cumbersome choice of sentence construction. We didn't include resistance to change our plan. You normally don't include resistance. We haven't foreseen the resistance. We haven't thought of it. But when you include, it means that this is more or less carefully planned, and we haven't accounted for an adverse reaction, something along those lines. Going forward, but I did enjoy your expression when everything went on wheels. It is quite a descriptive. I know the time I'm finishing. To cultivate two things, there was a comment: positive mindset and stop being a verb. If we talk about things, then we use the verbal forms, which is a participle or a gerund, not a noun. Stop. Two things: positive mindset and perhaps stopping rather than stop. I'll get my goal. Perhaps I'll achieve my goal, which have been a slightly better choice of the language. And the usual mishap that I keep observing from meeting to meeting: advices. Advices exist in banking, which are a payment confirmation. That's the only place where advices, a plural form, is permissible. Other than that, it is a piece of advice. And then when we actually make an act of giving an advice, we are advising. Advise rather than advice. That's everything from my part. Thank you very much.
We're a bit longer than they should have been. But thank you for your prepared and very clear report. The next time, probably I would recommend you to make some groups of mistakes, not to pay attention to every single word said by several people. So you couldn't mention every participant of the meeting because the time is short. But those whom you mentioned, I think they should feel pleased with your personal attention. Thank you. I believe that for now, I would like to invite to the stage not the timer, but the quiz master, because the timer should control the quiz master also. So let us welcome on the stage our quiz master, Tatiana.
Yes, please. Okay, are you guys ready for fun? Let's go ahead and have fun. I'm going to confuse you a little bit, and I'm going to start from the middle and go backwards. So, question number one. List 3 most stressful situations Americans consider according to Irina.
There's the worst and the moving.
Bingo. Winner. Winner is the winner. You have a choice of those two. Oh, really? And relax. Let's go with this. Okay, number 2. How many kids does Irina have?
2.
Which grade Irina's daughter attend?
5.
No.
9. Son is attending.
Correct. Okay. Which furniture object you should not to have close to your working place?
Fridge, refrigerator.
Bingo. Refrigerator. Okay. Now, okay. Who found the right words for Irina's son to make him move?
His father.
Husband, right? His father.
So Marina was the first.
Paulina and Alla both. You are both winners.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Keep going.
No, keep going. Question to everyone except for Martino, because it's related to his speech. Please name please tell the name of the diet.
Time restricted.
Time restricted, correct. Okay. Okay. Researchers show that these two countries have less cancer level
China and
than
Japan.
the majority. China and
Japan.
China and Japan, correct? Yes. Polina seems to be the reason. What should I pull in? You're too attentive. Okay. And what should you do if you decide to use the diet Martina recommends? What should you do first?
Consult a doctor.
Correct. Now this question is easy one. Who can confirm that Miles makes a lot of promises during New Year?
His wife.
Correct. His wife can confirm. Okay. I'm not sure. The last one is politically correct. No, that's wrong. What are the signs of bad luck according to Tatiana? Bad luck.
Black cats and broken mirrors.
Correct. Thank you.
Additional quiz. Thank
Okay,
you, Tatiana. For the next time, prepare more questions.
Okay.
So that was quite an interesting role, I believe. For the next time, I advise to every of you to take this role and listen very attentively to the speeches that happen on the stage and ask some interesting, confusing questions to the audience and give us some sweet prizes. And now let us move to the last but not the least expert for today, our timer, to share with us how good we work in terms of time. Please welcome on the stage Hemant Kalyani.
Good evening once again. What is the time now? What is the time now?
The time is 9:06.
Yeah, and when we are supposed to end our meeting, it's like we are ahead of the time. So congratulate each and everyone to finish their speeches within the time limit and respecting the schedule which has been provided. Thank you. So overall, everything was on time. There was few seconds more some people has covered up, but it's been covered up by the other people who has taken this time. So I think we were ahead of time.
Thank you so much. So dear friends, I should say thank you to all of you for coming today. And it really makes me happy to be here on the stage in my actually home club, the first Toastmasters club I came in 7 or already 8 years ago. So that was very nice for all of us together here at the last meeting of Toastmasters club for this year. And I wish everyone to put this balloon there today after the meeting and let all our secret wishes come true for the next year. So let's applaud for that. Give the stage to the president of the club. Please welcome Alina Tsigankova.
Thank you very much, all guys. You come today, tonight, for this very cold day, but you did it. Thank you very much. You found time. And what I want to say, a bit serious. First, what I want to say, look at your agenda, please, and evaluate our meeting for today. You have QR code there, and please evaluate all of the meeting. 2 speeches, our experts, it will be important for us for further meetings. Yeah. Don't have agenda?
No, I do have an agenda. I don't have the phone.
Ah, okay. Okay. And while you voting, I just check our table topics winner.
Now I know who is the winner. Have a few seconds. I give you time. I have ribbon as the winner. So as I see, almost all participants are ready to the next part. Almost. Okay, so who is the winner of table topic session today? The winner is Yana. Could you please make water together, Yana? This is your ribbon. Thank you very much. Congratulations. The next, what I want to say is about donation, as we say all the time. And please donate a few rubles for our club, for snacks, for something else. And if you want, you can transfer by number in the agenda. Our next meeting will be special meeting because it will be our anniversary, 10 years anniversary of our club. It will be a great day. It will be after all holidays on 19th of January. So ask me how to have a role for that day, for that beautiful day for us. We will celebrate it together. All of you are invited. So, and what else? We have just one meeting in January. So don't forget that we will meet after holidays. We will not have a meeting at the beginning of January because of holidays. So check it, please. And we'll see on 19th of January. And the last, what I want to say, this is don't forget to put your promises for next year, because after this meeting, we will go to our after party and this balloon will fly for us. If anybody from Zoom wants to fly their wishes, ask me and I will put it inside of this packet. Okay? Send it to me. So thank you very much, guys, for this meeting. I love you.
Are we going to take a picture?
Yes, sure. Every time we forget about this, let's make picture. Maybe I ask someone.
Come on, guys, let's take a picture. Our banner.
Friends, let's have a picture together. We have volunteer. Come closer. There. Closer. Make a picture with us. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Happiness. Woo! Oh my God. Thank you very much, guys.
Здесь поколдовать.
Thank you, friends.
Yeah.